Bonjour, everyone. It is Sue with Sue is Retiring to France on a Shoestring. It is about 7:30 on Saturday evening. We have a light breeze. You might be able to see some of it. It just kind of started kicking up. But today it was absolutely muggy, beyond muggy, due to all the rain that we had the last couple of days. So it was, I think the hottest it got up to where I live was about 90 degrees, but most of the day it was in the mid 80s. So I did walk the dogs in the late afternoon, so I did get some good walking in. But once again, I did not get to go on my hike because I think that the trails where I want to go are still a little bit too wet. So my hope is, because we had a good sunny day today, that those trails are going to be dry enough tomorrow to be able to go and not worry about slipping and sliding. So we'll see. Fingers crossed, right? I'm in a better mood now, but I started out the day in an absolutely horrific, panicked and paranoid mood. Mostly because I had a terrible experience yesterday with the auto repair place that has been repairing my car from an April 2024 hailstorm, and they still have not repaired something that they broke after I got it back from them last July. So just to kind of give you an idea of the type of work that they did, first of all, they kept it for 4 weeks and didn't do anything with it when I could have just kept the car at home, because they completely blew through my auto insurance rental car policy. So then I had to pay for 3 weeks of rental car on my own that I didn't need to. Then, as soon as I got the car back, within 2 blocks of leaving the lot, the plastic, I don't know what you want to call it, electronics cover that is like behind your rear view mirror, so it's up against the windshield glass, literally just fell off at a stoplight. And I had to pull over and figure out how to connect that thing back up again. It clipped in, but it took me probably about 15 minutes to get it to clip in properly. So that was not really a good thing. And then the door handle was not reinstalled properly. So instead of when I lock it, it going immediately flush with the car, it stuck out like a weird, crazy stick. And then worst of all, worst things, when they were apparently putting the car back together again, they gouged the interior panel of my passenger door, 1/2 inch, very deep gouge. And that is what I have been dealing with since last July 24th. They ordered the wrong panel. They let it sit there in their lot for 30 days. Once they realized they ordered the wrong panel, it was too late for them to return it. So I do feel bad for them, but that's kind of like the price you pay if you do something dumb like that. So they had to eat a $1,300, ouch, interior door panel. But in the long run, I still don't have the door panel. They told me it was reordered, and I brought my car back in so they could make sure that they took the door panel off and got the correct number for the correct door panel. They ordered it. It still hasn't come in. I have been chatting with them phone, like person to person, and emails, over 24 of them, and voicemails since last October. It is now, March 29th. And finally yesterday when I spoke with him, he came up with some kind of like absolutely fantastical story about how when I bought the car, they think that the dealer put in a substandard interior door panel on the car I bought, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. I'm so glad that I was talking on the phone and not face to face, because I don't think that my resting bitch face would have been concealable at that point in time. But after he went through this fantastical story of what they thought was going on now, I basically just cut him off at the nuts, literally, and said, that's it, we're done. I don't have time anymore. Because of your incompetence, I have to sell my car now at a disadvantage because it has a gouge in the door panel that I didn't do. So I'm going into that a lot right now because clearly I need to still vent on this. But it put me in such a bad mood. And I didn't sleep well, and then I woke up absolutely petrified and panicked and paranoid that there's no way I'll get all the stuff that I need to get done to move to France on May 28th in 58, as of today, 58 days. So I took a deep breath, and I did some really positive things in terms of getting the interior of the RV where it needs to be. I think I mentioned yesterday that I took all of my artwork off the walls, and I had to laugh because I dropped off, I think it was 18 or 20 frames at Goodwill, but the art itself literally fits in probably I want to say maybe like an 18-inch by 20-inch by 1-inch thick pile, because I took everything out of the frames and just put it in a pile with tissue paper between each piece. So I had to laugh at that. Think of all that extra frames that I would have had to pack and then worried about the glass cutting stuff. I think that was a smart thing that I did. So I did that yesterday, and that made me feel a little bit more positive and empowered. I think that's the right word. So today, I put it in my to-do list yesterday for today, and what I've started doing is a task list in my calendar that it just keeps bugging me all day long if I don't do it. And so I found that that's really helpful for someone like me who just wants to ignore it. So this morning, I touched up the paint in my bedroom. I got everything out of the bedroom that is a personal effect, and then I staged it and took photos of it. And that took about an hour and a half, and then the bulk of my day today was spent completely redoing the bathroom. So I have done a lot of improvements in my bathroom and my kitchen especially. And a couple of years ago, I took out the existing sink and the existing sink fixtures and shower fixtures, and I put in a bamboo tabletop in my bathroom, and then I bought a square vessel sink that sits on top of it, and then the appropriate faucets to go along with that, both in the shower and in the sink. And I also did some of that really cool self-stick wallpaper that really lasts, that actually sticks really well on the wall. And over the last 2 years, I think that's when I did it, it's gotten a little bit loose at certain areas, and I decided to do one wallpaper on the bottom and another wallpaper up on the top half, and then I had some molding in between. And that kind of wallpaper doesn't really do well if molding is sitting on top of it. It just kind of like bunched together, like little wrinkles. So luckily, I was smart enough to save the wallpaper that I used a couple of years ago, pulled that out from the storage underneath my bed, and I completely re-wallpapered my bathroom walls, which meant taking off mirrors, meant taking off towel bars and a towel rack and a toilet paper holder. I'm trying to think what else I had to take off. I think that's it. But still, I had to unscrew all that kind of stuff, and then I had to put all the wallpaper up. And don't forget, I'm still healing with this shoulder. So there was a lot of this stuff I wasn't able to do, or I had to do like really weird positioning so that my right arm was doing all the work and I wasn't doing too much with my left arm and screw it all up. And then I touched up the paint on the walls in the bathroom, on the cabinetry, I guess I should say. And then also I had done some upgrading to my fiberglass shower pan when I first bought the RV in the end of 2016. And so I actually bought more of that, I want to call it epoxy type spray I think that's what it is, but I'm not quite sure. At any rate, it needed to be refurbished a little bit on the shower pan, just from things that fall, right? Like, like a back scrubber that falls and things like that, right? So there were little nicks on the shower pan, and so I tidied that all up, and then I staged and took pictures of the bathroom. So now my bedroom pictures are all done. My bathroom pictures are all done. Tomorrow I will probably start in on the kitchen area, which again, the rest of the rig is pretty much one big open thing. And if you come from the back of the rig, it's the bedroom and then the bathroom and then it's the kitchen area. And then again, if you're coming from the back to the front, the kitchen area is off to the left. The refrigerator's to the right, but the kitchen area is off to the left. And then my standing sit-down desk is off to the right, which I haven't used since last May 31st. And then, I hope that that's not so loud from my neighbors that I'm going to have to go ask them to be quiet. Hopefully I'll be able to get rid of that. We'll see. But then in front of that then is the living area, also on the left-hand side. And then there's the front of the RV. And in the front, there's, of course, the driver's seat. And then what I did is put a small tabletop in between the driver's seat and the passenger seat. So that's actually my dining area. And it looks out. There's a motorcycle over there. So sorry, I'm going to stop for a second. Okay. Hopefully it's quiet now. But the nice thing about that dining table area is that it overlooks basically, quote unquote, the dashboard, which is also a window seat for the dogs. So it looks outside and it's kind of like a nook. So tomorrow I will work on the kitchen area, the day after that, and maybe I'll actually work on the office area too. Or I'll do that the day after that. And then last, of course, will be the front. Another thing that I need to do is, and I already have the cleaning fluid for that. I can't remember what it's called, but you get it at like big box hardware stores, and you attach it to your hose, and then it completely cleans outside of your RV. And so I have that, and I need to do that, and that will be the last thing that I do. I will be having a yard sale next Saturday, April 5th. I will be putting everything possible out in my little patio area here, and hopefully I will be able to sell everything, if not most of everything. And during the week, hopefully if I can get all of the interior done by, it's Saturday, by Tuesday at the latest, I'm going to create a QR code, and then I will tag that to a PDF of all the stuff that I'm selling and all of the pictures for both the interior and the exterior, and then put the rig up for sale too. So I still am feeling really worried and really scared about not being able to get everything done. But then I tell myself that 59 days, you can get an awful lot of stuff done. You just need to not live in your head and let it scare you. So yeah, that'll make me, I think, feel a little bit more in control of things. And I do have to laugh because you can kind of see behind me. You can see one of my ladders, and then you can see kind of like these outdoor screens. Behind the outdoor screens, I've gotten rid of all my other outdoor screens from when I had the hot tub and things like that. But these ones are actually hiding 5 packed boxes. Each individual box is completely protected in a heavy-duty black yard and garden bag, and taped up, because I don't have any place to store stuff, right? I mean, I live in an RV. It's 292 square feet. So I have to laugh, and I'm so proud of myself for doing that, because all of it stayed 100% dry during this deluge rain that we had the last couple of days. So this is a little bit longer than I thought, but obviously I needed to get a lot of stuff kind of like off my chest and out of my head. And you guys are so supportive. I really appreciate you. And I know so many of you have kind of gone through this already. So it kind of brings back memories for you of doing things. And then I love hearing those stories because it makes me realize that if X and Y and Z and A and B and C were able to do it, well, then certainly Suki can do it, right? There's no reason that I can't. So let's see what I did today. I'm not quite sure how many steps I had altogether, but I will post that in the video thread here. And I'm so looking forward tomorrow to actually getting out and doing a real live walk / hike / serious mileage tomorrow. So fingers crossed that I get to do that. And with that, I wish everybody a bonjour, a bonsoir. I will see you again soon. And au revoir. Take care.